We all have to remember that hate crimes is preceded by hate speech. We all have to remember that the genocide of the Tutsis in Rwanda started with hate speech. The Holocaust did not start with the gas chambers. It started long before with hate speech. What we have been seeing in Myanmar against the Rohingya population started also with hate speech. And today, what we are witnessing around this world, with the rise of extremists, be it in Europe, be it in Asia, everywhere, when we see the growing number of neo-Nazi group, neo-fascist group, when we see the way migrants and refugees are being vilified, we need therefore to make every effort to address this hate speech. We have to bear in mind that words kill. Words kill as bullets. And that is why we need to make every effort to invest on education, to invest on the youth, so that the next generation will understand the importance of living peacefully together. We need to make every effort so that the attacks like the one we have witnessed in Sri Lanka, when churches were attacked, the one we witnessed in New Zealand, what we saw in Pittsburgh, all this has to stop. And to stop it, we need to invest more on mobilizing the youth. We need to use the verb to become a tool for peace, a tool for love, a tool for increasing social cohesion, harmony in our world, instead of being a tool for committing genocide, crimes against humanity.
Good evening. Welcome to the Arts in Heart. My name is Lekuyani Eli, and we are right on time for the other part of our weekly conversation around the election issues that are facing the country, Kenya. You know, the fast approaching 9th August 2022 general election seem to be rebirthing the IEBC headache as the commission fights with time and legal battles facing candidates. For example, the other day we heard of one candidate, a member of parliament that was aspiring to be, and they've been kicked out thanks to the nationality issue. What are some of the major complications that will be arising with all these legal battles? Are there chances that IEBC is just brewing itself for yet another storm of legal battles even after the August 9th elections? For these and much more, do join us as we stream this conversation live on our channels, that is the Arts in Heart Official on YouTube, Blue Radio, and of course, without forgetting, Radio EU. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to bring in my panelists for the night. I start with the African man. Good evening, African man, and how are you doing tonight?
It's not a good evening, it's a very bad evening. But I want to say hello to my viewers. I want to say thank you very much for following us. And I want to walk away from the show. I want to walk away from Kenya because we are not ready. We are not ready. What is going on is a lot of hula baloo. So I just want to tell Kenyans, you've been lied to for a very long time. The lies have reached to the end. All these people, they are lying to us. So please, I want to say bye-bye to you today. I want to ask you one thing. Kenyan friends, Already in diaspora, we cannot vote. You are saying that we don't have a right to vote. That one is another story. So from today, just know, Uhuru Kenyatta is a liar. Raila Odinga is a liar. Ruto is a liar. And the rest are also lying. So please, if you have to vote, vote just because you want to enjoy the ceremony. But right now, where we are comparing to the world, we've been lied to so much. Right now, I just wish there could be something that this election can be stopped, and then we give ourselves 6 months to re-examine ourselves, then we can vote. But otherwise, we are just going for the same lie. Maybe Wajakoya can little bit have some points. But Eli, my friend, I want to tell you the truth. What we are following, we are just on a roundabout of lies and lies and lies and lies. That's what I have to say. To be honest, I don't like politics. But
Matasio, such a heavy way to come back. But of course, hold your horses. We want to know why you feel that there is, a conspiracy to lie and continue lying to Kenyans. And I'm hoping we can be able to get exchange from our audience who are watching tonight. But let's again welcome Mr. Godwin. Godwin, good evening and welcome to the show tonight.
Good evening, Eli. I don't know why you had to invite me after Matasio, because Matasio has been hurt by someone. I don't know who's that.
He's made some claims that we will be able to figure out as we continue the conversation about him not being able to vote. But then again, Godwin, your opening remarks.
I want to say we still have a long way. And as Matasio puts it, we don't know who is saying the truth. We don't know where the truth is. But we're just riding along because whatever comes, people are just waiting to vote and go. Most of us, what we're praying for is peace, not even voting. We just want it to go because at the end of the day, it doesn't change anything. The people that are coming in, the people that are going out, the same crop of people, we usually say, the monkeys are the same, just changing forest. So there's nothing different that is coming on the table. Matasio.
I agree with my brother. I agree with him. Okay, we can just do this as a ritual. Sometimes you can even pray before you eat, even if you don't know the food is tasty. So let's just vote. If it's just for the sake of voting, let's vote. But to be honest, we are voting lies. They are all lying to us. We have to find out the truth. So they are all lying. And personally, I think, to be honest, if you ask me, I tell everybody, stay home that day. Don't go to vote. Just stay home. Because Uhuru stays, no difference. Ruto comes, no difference. Raila comes, just stay home. Just stay home. Don't even vote. It's even better, to be honest.
Well, Matasio, Ogola tells me he does not agree with you because you seem very angry. But we'll be able to find out why you're actually angry. Let's have this conversation with the hashtag elections 2022. You can follow this live stream on the Arts in Heart official on YouTube, Facebook. We are Radio Africa EU, and we are equally Blue Radio KE on our Facebook channel, and we're streaming this on Blue Radio. That is www.blueradio.co.ke. Matasio, you've mentioned things that I wanted to handle later on, but I believe because you brought them up, let's find out, first of all, Godwin, do you think the IEBC did a fair job by actually allowing Kenyans in diaspora to be able to vote in these elections for 2022 elections? Because Matasio claims he has not been allowed.
Eli, let me try to be negative or pessimistic in this sense. And that's my opinion. I've never felt like there's something genuine when the government or whatever institution brings up something. And as much as we say we want to allow the diaspora electorate to vote, there's something always behind. There's someone who wants to eat. And the question is, who is that? Because look at how things are being done. You'll find they'll target maybe a few countries and stuff. What is the criteria being used? So, and they usually target, which people are we trying to lure into this? So it's not genuine as such. And I know you registered as a voter, but I really don't know because I'm not in the diaspora, but I still feel Matasi will tell us.
I'm waiting on Matasi to tell us something. Matasi, you're not going to stay here and stare, right? Okay. Matasi did the thing. But actually, let us put this thing into perspective, because one, for sure, IEBC announced that some countries would be able to exercise their, constitutional right this year. As diaspora, people will be allowed to vote. One of those countries that I know, or one of those regions that I know it's Europe, for example. And I am registered to actually vote in Berlin. So when Matasio claims diaspora hasn't been allowed to vote, I want to call that a fat lie, unless he's not telling us one thing, because IEBC and the constitution is very clear on who can vote. One of these, requirements or prerequisites, you need or you must be a Kenyan. You cannot be holding double nationality and be given the opportunity to vote. So if he's arguing on those lines, then I can accept probably they need something to be done. But of course, there are reasons that are constitutional and abiding by the law that limits one's rights once you have allegiance to another country. Godwin.
Eli, I don't think dual citizenship bars one from voting. But what the constitution provides is when you have a dual citizenship, you cannot hold an elective position or public office, and that's where the law is. It doesn't bar someone who has a dual citizenship from voting. Understand? And that's provided for under Article 78(2) of the Kenyan Constitution 2010. It bars someone who is holding. It talks about dual citizenship and leadership, and that's why I'm telling you it bars someone who has. And there's an exception to judges and people in commissions. So you cannot hold an elective position or state a public office when you're having a dual citizenship.
Are you done?
Muted, Eli?
Are you done?
Yes, Eli. Yes.
Well, we'll be actually pulling up some of that material so that we can have a very inclusive conversation. And I know you guys are watching from throughout those channels, so do engage us in this conversation where Matasio, who was left unceremoniously, says and claims that he's not happy because one, our presidents, our politicians are pathetic liars, and therefore if we have to vote this year, we need to only to vote because we have nothing better to do. But I don't think really that's what I will be asking us to do tonight, because I still believe, despite everything that is at stake, we as Kenyans have to exercise this right to vote. For now, let's dwell now in the main topic that we were supposed to have handled before Matasio decided to jump the horse. So, you have mentioned about double nationality, and one of these issues was raised with some candidates being dismissed on those bases. And Godwin, now we want to really understand one thing: is it wrong for an individual that is vying for public office to actually have double nationality, or does it profit a country? Your perspective.
I think my perspective. On that front, I would not fault the law as it is, because it comes with allegiance and your commitment. Because when you're having a dual citizenship, likelihood is someone can come, mess up things, and then they run out to the other country. So they're not held accountable. So they know if things go south, I can go the other side. So they don't put in that much commitment. That's why I support the law when it states clearly that when you want to have when you are seeking an elective position or an appointment in a public office, then you should have a single citizenship. because when it comes to dual citizenship, when you have a dual citizenship, your allegiance is always in question, because you cannot claim I'm here and then the other time I'm here. So you're one leg is in, one leg is out, weighing options. So I think on that I'll still insist we should for anyone looking for any leadership position, be it in an elective seat or an appointive seat, then they should have a single citizenship.
Okay, fine. And you see, this is not just a Kenyan problem, because if you look at the larger East African community, to be honest, Africa at large, there are a lot of black spots when it comes to issue to deal with the citizenship and nationality and allegiance of most of those leaders. The new entrant into the East African community, being DRC Congo, almost 70% of their political leaders are foreigners. None, including the president. So is this a peculiar problem for Kenyans that we cannot allow them to vie, or it is an issue?
Even Eli, on the same, to add in something to do with the economy, all of us know we're having leaders who have stashed cash in offshore accounts. Now imagine this person who is sending money away, yet is having single citizenship. Now imagine such a person having dual citizenship. They'll drain the country dry. Then when we have nothing to use, they'll go on the other side where they looted all the money and transferred. So you see such a scenario. Why would you allow someone to have dual citizenship where they can now transfer funds from one place when they get to office, and then when things are bad, maybe they're being called to account or something, they run away, they go to the country, and in that country already their funds are there. So who's going to lose? It's the country, the Kenyan country, no. Because if these people, even they've stashed those amounts outside, but you can still hold them accountable, following the due judicial process, you can account them to book in, you tell them now this amount it was maybe out of corruption proceeds, and then you transferred the funds outside. Now you have to return the funds through state agencies like asset recovery. But when someone like that, they're having dual citizenship, it becomes even tricky for a country to follow up on such a matter.
Because you see, this is the issue that befell Miguna when Miguna was trying to, fight the courts, and then he was claiming that he cannot be arrested until Canada is informed of his issue. And actually, when Canada went into the matter, Kenya said he's not our citizen, so Canadians take your citizen. He was deported on those grounds. So I still hold the thought that it is important to keep public offices and of course elective offices for Kenyans that are real citizens with no allegiance to other countries. Because if you look at it from this angle, one more minute, Godwin, we have heard of double agents, right? They compromise the intelligence by sending to the country that is paying and the country that is actually paying. So you find a country, for example, Kenya and Tanzania, there is one agent that works for Kenya and equally works for Tanzania. So there will always be something that they are handling as a dangling stick or carrot for one country. And in the event they don't get what they want, they can always sell out the secrets of this country and compromise the probably national security of that country. So I still think this is an issue that we need to discuss in terms of dual citizenship. Victor Ogola, thank you so much for engaging us. He says, agreed, the virtual diaspora rally depicted wolves in sheepskins. I saw it firsthand, and I was really part of that interesting, audience, because I witnessed a lot of not so interesting stuff. But let's look at this. I'll rather the law be bent to accommodate those who are genuine. With the modern world, any con can be nabbed in the world. Dual citizenship should be appointed in public positions. But that's a story that requires probably a readjustment of the constitution. But individuals like Biwott, Sam Gishuru, Chris Okemo, and Moise touch billions in foreign shows without dual citizenship. Godwin, what do you make of that?
I understand, but you see, now with that, it doesn't become their problem. It becomes the problem of the institutions in Kenya. And that's the point I was trying to bring up, because I've always said our institutions are compromised. Because look at the issue of Miguna to start with. By the time IEBC was clearing Miguna, it means someone didn't do their due diligence. Because how did we come to know Miguna was having dual citizenship, yet he was vying for an elective seat? It means someone was not doing their job. You understand? And the same case when we have Kenyans who have stashed funds in offshore accounts, but they are not being brought to book, it means there's someone who is sleeping on their job, because that's why those institutions are there. If someone has been alleged to have stashed money in an offshore account or whatever in the so-called safe havens, what is so big for the respective institutions to follow up the matter? But the only problem in Kenya is, where are you politically at that moment? If you are politically wrong, they're going to come after you. If you're politically right, no one is going to talk. Because remember, by the time when Miguna was vying for Nairobi, which side was he? And then after things went south, even the people he was defending, they left him in the dark. So it just depends where you are, and that's what I'm saying. There's no political goodwill in terms of handling these matters. It just depends on which side you are, and that's the thing that is ailing the nation.
Indeed, that is the thing that is ailing the nation, and we are having this discussion on IEBC election headaches that are just about to come after or during this process as we head into the August 9th elections. I'm hanging out with Godwin Segero and myself, Likuyani Eli, as we discuss the president we want. Godwin, we have had a circus in terms of government, and that's what I'd call it. We are gearing to have another election. But one fundamental issue that remains on the spot is the consistency of government to continually overrule the constitution. With all that, and IEBC, of course, supposed to run all these activities under the guidance of the constitution and the electoral acts and all that, are we certain that the people we have in those offices are actually working for the interest of our country?
Not really. And as I said yesterday, in this country, we're just being treated to circus, not knowing which direction we are spinning. Because remember, yesterday we were talking about the issue of the Venezuelans. Today, IEBC held a press conference together with the National Police Service, and I'm talking about the Inspector General. And now they're telling us the issue has been resolved. Now the question is, how has it been resolved? Who was wrong? Who was right? What happened? Because the National Police was saying these guys were in the country illegally. They allegedly had fake passports. The way they came into the country and all that. And IBC was saying these are our staff. These people are coming to train IBC staff on issues to do with Kim's Kit and stuff. There was that old saga on Twitter and stuff, and then they come and hold a joint press brief, and they tell us the issue has been resolved, but they're not telling us how, where, how was it resolved? What was the issue? Because these are matter that was having a contention. This side is saying these guys are here illegally, they're holding election materials, and this one saying that our staff we are aware. So you come and hold a joint briefing and tell us everything has been resolved. How? And those are the answers we Kenyans need. You don't just come and tell us it has been resolved and then we keep quiet. Who is fooling who? And that's the question.
Who is fooling who is a question that we need to understand. And I still stay with the issue of citizenship and the fact that government and its agencies have continued to rip apart the constitution without respecting any legal frameworks that have been set to make sure that a country exercises its democratic rights. And one of those, I will bring you to the events that partook IEBC almost dismantling when there was an issue about the then ICT boss, the late Chris Musando. We remember one Rosaline, was it Rosaline
Akombe?
Akombe, that's the name. It was later realized that she was an American citizen. So if the IEBC itself has an issue when it comes to adhering to the procedures and the requirements of hiring its own commissions, what then are we left with?
I think on that, Ellie, I'll say she was constitutionally allowed to do that. As I told you when I was quoting the article, it exempts judges and commissioners. And remember, Rosaline Akombe was a commissioner. But the loophole I want to say is, if we take the scenario of Rosaline Akombe, you know how heated the election were, and we all know the implications. But now, when things were hot after the issue of Musando, she had to run for safety, but it was because she had a dual citizenship, and she was running to exile as much as it's like she's a citizen of that country. But do we have to allow people who can come and jeopardize maybe such a crucial process, and then when things are hot, they run away? So I think to that extent, maybe that bit has to be relooked. Understand? Because she was legally there because she's exempted by the Constitution. She was a commissioner with the IEBC, and Article 78(2) provides for that. So she was legally constituted.
Well, when you talk about legalities, that is what happens when we have a law that you can always bypass and, achieve it either way. We are having this conversation here with the president. We are streaming this conversation live on www.blueradio.co.ke, and we are equally live on our social media handles. That is the Arts in Heart Official on YouTube, Blue Radio KE on Facebook, and Radio EU on Facebook. Let's just see what else can we get out of this conversation, because it's been a heated one throughout the week. We are trying to look at things critically moving into the August 9th election. What is at stake? Is it the votes? Is it is it about people moving and marching into the courts to try and find their rights addressed? But one important aspect of 2022 that we must take care of is when politician decides to misuse their tongue and raise one community against the other. We have dire consequences in the event this happens.
We all have to remember that hate crimes is preceded by hate speech. We all have to remember that the genocide of the Tutsis in Rwanda started with hate speech. The Holocaust did not start with the gas chambers. It started long before with hate speech. What we have been seeing in Myanmar against the Rohingya population started also with hate speech. And today, what we are witnessing around this world, with the rise of extremists, be it in Europe, be it in Asia, everywhere, when we see the growing number of neo-Nazi group, neo-fascist group, when we see the way migrants and refugees are being vilified, we need therefore to make every effort to address this hate speech. We have to bear in mind that words kill. Words kill as bullets. And that is why we need to make every effort to invest on education, to invest on the youth, so that the next generation will understand the importance of living peacefully together. We need to make every effort so that the attacks like the one we have witnessed in Sri Lanka when churches were attacked, the one we witnessed in New Zealand, what we saw in Pittsburgh, all this has to stop. And to stop it, we need to invest more on mobilizing the youth. We need to use the verb to become a tool for peace, a tool for love, a tool for increasing social cohesion, harmony in our world, instead of being a tool for committing genocide, crimes against humanity.
Indeed, we need to use these words carefully so that we do not return Kenya to where it was in 2007. And for everyone that witnessed the 2007 elections and post-election violence, it was a bad scenario. And that's why we want to continue this conversation, to make sure that we understand one another and realize what is at stake. It's not about your favorite political party. It's not about your favorite political leader or political, outfit. It is about Kenya remaining what it is, even after the elections. We can always have this conversation right here every single Thursdays and Wednesdays from 9:30 p.m. East African time. And with me in studio is Godwin Segero. We unfortunately were not able to continue the conversation with the African man, but we still push this until we bring this flight home. Godwin.
So, Eli, there's something, we're talking about the president you want.
Yeah.
And then you wonder who's clean and who's not. If you're able to, if you're privy to what happened, one of the mainstream TV stations yesterday, where the former Secretary General of Jubilee came out with serious allegations, because we're here to prove or to authenticate how true that is. And we all know what he said. He claimed that the DP was paid billions to support Uhuru Kenyatta from 2013. So you wonder, at what cost will someone go, or to what extent will someone go to get into those positions? So is it about us or is it about them? Because if you're sure you have ideas that can change the nation, or that wants to solve the issues of the citizens, why don't you just go out there, express, sell your agenda to the people, let them buy into it and vote for you? Why do you have to go buying someone? You see, and it's a very deep conversation. We're not sure whether it's true or not, but now gauging by what was said, because if someone was bought, it means one person was bought to buy, or is like buying a community through one person. I know once I get Eli, I've gotten votes from this region. But when I give you Eli money, does that money benefit the region that I'm bringing, or it benefits you as an individual? You understand?
The question is not even the benefiting aspect. The question is, how do I get back my money? Because it's an investment.
It's an investment, exactly. And that's what I was saying yesterday, return on investment. So when we get used to this handout culture, we don't know what we are losing, thinking that we are gaining. That 500 you get today, you don't know how much money someone else has invested, and they have to get back. No one is doing that for charity. You understand? And then it begs another question. Then who has the moral standing to come and blame another one for being corrupt or for not having integrity? Because the giver is as good as the receiver. And that's what you call, even in bribe, it doesn't mean bribe, it focuses on the person who is receiving. You are the person who is giving. So if you went out of your way to buy someone so that you can get votes, how do you then come and tell us this person is bad? Yet you are the one who brought him there. You bought them. You understand? So who is going to lead us? And then now you want to tell us now this person is good, now this one is bad. And then I'm telling you, politicians take we as the electorate for a ride. And the sooner we realize that, the better.
But Godwin, we cannot entirely blame the politician. Just in your own words, you say the giver is as good or as bad as the receiver. The electorate, and especially the Kenyan electorate in this aspect, even claim, they have a lot of memes that go around, kula sijui kwa fulani and kura kwa fulani. You know, those are the common words being used. When the politicians themselves go on those podiums, they speak out and they say, chukua pesa ya fulani na upigie fulani kura. How then can we as Kenyans stand there and point fingers? Our hands are as dirty as those politicians. So in fact, I believe we are living a test of our own medicine, for lack of a better word.
Exactly. And the reason I was I was focusing first on the leaders because we are talking about the president we want, and we are taking a scenario of the previous election. So Raphael Tuju comes, says the Mount Kenya region don't owe Ruto anything because Ruto was paid upfront. He was paid in billions for him to support Uhuru. Who paid? It's Uhuru through people and stuff, you know. So, and then the same sitting president comes and tells us, you know what, this guy is a looter, is a thief. Why did you buy him? Why did you bring in the government in the first place? What changed? What was so serious that you had to buy someone for you to get votes to lead? Was it out of goodwill? Or it was a matter of life and death? You understand? So you cannot now come here and tell us you are clean, yet you bought someone for you to get into power.
So in short, what we are saying is, all said and done, everything's checked upside down. The president we want in the new crop of leadership or the old crop of leadership, it's almost close to zero. What are our options?
Honestly, I think...
Matasio said we don't go to vote. Are you going to suggest the same?
Actually, it's one of the solutions, because if we don't
vote and for reasons either politically or whatsoever, because again the president to be elected, there needs to be the 50+1 election something happening, and you know those arithmetics that works with that, and of course they can say of the number of votes that were casted, but there is also a minimum amount that has to come from region, I believe so. But what does that then pose for Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency? Are we seeing a possibility of an extension?
We all know if Raila ascends to power, Uhuru would still be in power by default. And we talked about that on this platform the other time when MK said if President Uhuru is the chairman of Azimio, it doesn't mean when Raila gets to power, he'll just be a shadow like chairman. He has a say. He has something at the table. He has a say on decisions that are going to be made. So by extension, he's still going to be in power. You understand? Raila's presidency, by extension, Uhuru will still be in power. Not directly, but he'll be there. Those are people who will be calling shots from behind the scenes. You know. So that's the question.
You bring an interesting conversation here, and thank you so much, Victor Ogola. He has remained very faithful to this conversation. I see all your comments coming in, and I appreciate you, sir. But let's stick to what you've just mentioned about the fact that if Raila gets to win this election and is elected as president, there's a high chance Uhuru Kenyatta stays in power, because he will not just disappear into the thin air. I hear Kenyans complaining about a failed government. I hear Kenyans complaining about a failed presidency. I hear Kenyans complaining about cost of living. But I don't hear Kenyans complaining about the very person that we should be asking why Kenya has not performed like it should have. Why is he the one that is in charge of the next president to be elected? I don't hear them complaining about that. What is wrong with us?
You see, for me, he can endorse whoever he wants, because at the end of the day, he's a Kenyan citizen, and is entitled to one vote. So it doesn't matter, But now the question is, I'm talking about these two leaders who are coming. Ruto says, in the first time we worked well, so in the second time, blame Raila. On the other side, Raila says, in the first time I was not there. The second time I was not in government. I was just advising President Uhuru as a friend. But still, he was there. So you see, in the last 10 years, both Ruto and Raila have been actively in the government. One was in the opposition but in government, the other one was in government but in opposition. You see, but now why do they have to blame each other? When you're in that position of influence, what did you do? You saw the other day during the presidential interview, the deputy president fumbling saying, I have influence, but on this issue I didn't push the issue as a deputy president, I pushed it as a leader. So how do you become a leader? You by virtue of you being a deputy president, you're a leader. So you cannot on one side you push as an independent leader and the other one as a deputy president. You're still a leader by virtue of the office that you occupy. You understand? So, and as I'm saying, these people, there's no one who is having political goodwill. Everyone is there for the personal interest, not a common Mwananchi interest. And I pity my fellow countrymen when we'll go to all extra mile to try and defend this politician as if they know us. Because trust me, Eli, even if I say, Eli, you're the good person and you don't know me, if I was to sleep hungry today, I'll still sleep hungry. Food will not come to my table because I said so-and-so is a good leader. So we've made it a matter of life and death. We've seen rallies where people go, they get hurt, and then the person you're cheering gets into an SUV, drives away. He has security. Who guards you? You go risk your life. You put now your family into problems because when you're hurt, you have to go to hospital. Who takes care of the bills? These people don't know you. They don't even if you're hurt. So I don't know why we usually take politicians to be so like mini gods where it's a matter of life and death. I have to beat my brother, to beat my neighbor, to hurt my neighbor for the sake of someone who doesn't care about you. At the end of the day, when they get into power, they share positions and all those position of power among themselves. A small group, but when it comes to looking for votes, they are looking for you.
But Godwin, they cannot vote for themselves. That's the truth. And somebody has to vote them in, or somebody has to rig them in, because that's the common way of doing things. But let's again try to be objective here. The elections are coming. If they're going to happen on the 9th of August, it is becoming a matter of big if you ask me. But let's go with the fact that the elections will happen. And once they happen, do you believe some people will be rushing to the courts, seeking for court, to
intervention?
Yes, intervention.
Definitely. You see, it's only in Kenya where someone will ever lose, whether the elections were credible or not. There is no one who is going to come and say, I lost fairly. You understand? So it's a routine. I bet here, whoever loses, whether it's Raila or Ruto, either of them is going to go to the Supreme Court because it's an avenue that is there.
And why?
Everyone is going to complain. And you see, that's what I'm telling you, these people, they don't care about the citizen. It's a matter of life and death. It's either me or me.
Does that
and
then does it then question or raise question about our electoral process, about our democracy? We say Kenya, especially in Africa or East Africa, we say Kenya has one of the most democratic and vibrant electoral procedure. But if everybody is running to the Supreme Court, or we anticipate that's going to happen, why then do we go to elections?
You cannot blame them because it's the right provided for under the Constitution.
It's a right, but does it have anything to do with precedence? Because that's what I'm trying to look at. What happened in the previous election? Because let's not just start now. Let's go all the way when we had the issue to deal with Kibaki's government and Raila decided he is not going to let go. He decided he must be in a Nusumkate kind of organization. And he made his way into that prime minister's office. Is it about the precedents that Raila has set?
Exactly, and you see, now the difference is, look at the legal framework then and now. Because by the time Raila and Kibaki were fighting over the government by then, we didn't have the kind of judicial system we have right now, because the judicial system that we're having right now came after the promulgation of the Constitution in 2010. And that's why you saw during the 2007 scenario, we had now people coming from outside to come intervene. You remember the issue of Kofi Annan, because we didn't have a strong judicial system by then. Even the judicial system was compromised. But now at least if there's some sort of belief or trust in the judiciary, you understand? And now you see, like when the new constitution came in, it gave a good framework for the presidential petition. And you remember, the Supreme Court came into force after the 2010 constitution, because previously the apex court was the Court of Appeal, but now we have the Supreme Court, and it has the original jurisdiction to listen to matters regarding presidential election petitions. You understand? So at least there's that procedure. And then the reason why even now moving forward, we'll have every cycle people going to the Supreme Court is the precedent that was set by Justice David Maraga in 2017, because everyone now knew it's possible for an election to be nullified. And mind you, the election that was nullified, it was for the incumbent, a sitting president. You understand? So it's a precedent that was set. Even before we talk about the presidential, you see, like the issues of the likes of Akina Sonko, they want to explore all the judicial avenues until they've exhausted everything. And that's why, so even after the Supreme Court hearing, Sonko still went to East African Court of Justice. So expect more. I think from 2013 moving forward, there's no presidential candidate that is going to lose and accept and say, I lost fairly and I've accepted and I'm going home. Everyone will raise an issue. And that's why you see around this time, everyone is trying to poke holes into the IEBC procedure. So to know what grounds am I using, what grounds am I going to use when it comes to the time of petition? Because at the end of the day, that's where they're going to end. And that's why if you find issues like, let's go manually, let's go electronic way. I don't know what came in, what came in where, because people are looking for reasons, grounds.
And they will be looking for those reasons as much as we cannot, predict who or how. But I can tell you for free that after these elections, it's not because we are not well planned. It's not because we are not a democratic country. But I think we are too much democratic, and therefore, probably, and mark my words, more than 40% of these, whatever positions will be, people will be going to court to seek the court to try and, give them remedy for probably what they will term as unfair or inability of IEBC to have conducted free, fair elections. Before we can actually bring this ship home, I want to allow a minute or so to the African man who has told me, Ellie, I was mad, but I'm back. I just want to say one or two words before we call it a night. So the African man, if you can hear me, good evening once again to you.
Yes, good evening, our viewers. I see Victor Ogola. Nice to follow me and everybody, because I am fighting for the black man consciousness. That's what I'm fighting for. And a lot of Kenyans, we are undermining the elections we have now, because these elections is going to make a very going to pave a very serious way for African mentality. You understand, eh? So I think I still go back to the point of the lies. Early when I was here last time, I asked the panelists, has Raila ever lied? A fellow man like me swears like Raila cannot lie. I asked another man, can Ruto lie? They swear that Ruto cannot lie. So for me, I just want to say, if I had the power, I would postpone the elections.
On what grounds? On what grounds?
Kenya is not ready. We are not ready. Because
not ready is a very blanket statement. Give me,
like
because
this,
we have been discussing this over an hour, close to an hour now. But in what aspect do you think Kenya is not ready for this year's elections?
We are still sleeping. We listen to lies. You tell me, is there any truth in this campaign?
You know, politics, it's about propaganda. And the one that sells better buys the vote. That is how it works.
Yes,
politics has never been about true or lies.
Because we have accepted politics is lies, so we want to be engaged in a lie thing. There are places you don't have lies. Sri Lanka, Madagascar, people don't want lies anymore. Let me give you a program in Holland. We are standing with the farmers. Like Bill Gates wants to buy all the farms and make us squatters on our farms. So I think, to be very, very honest, Ruto is not good for Kenya. Raila is not Kenya. I've been there all the time. The only reason I can say, give Wajakoya a chance. This guy has been the law dog of the politicians, if you follow his history. The law dog of the politician. So, right?
Okay. I think Matasio has an agenda which is called Wajakoya, and I agree that he has the right to give his views. And probably some of my statements might be taken out of context in terms of what I mean when I say politics. It's about propaganda. You know, when there is an issue and a politician finds a small speck of truth in it, he will make sure that they propagate it in a way that they are selling even a narrative that was not part of the narrative. And that's what we call propaganda. So this propaganda works, especially when you want to convince the masses you are the best of them all. Because if you go to about facts and truth, most of them never bring out the facts. They will stand there and they will tell you they are clean, they do not drink, they are husbands and they are married, and they are always awake, ready to serve you. But they will not tell you that they have 200 and so billions of shillings that they acquired fraudulently. But they still want to be the deputy president. Godwin.
Eli, let me tell you one thing. There are two things that happened today that caught my eye, because we are talking about, as much as we are talking about the president we want, by extension, we are talking about the entire leadership, you know. And to start with the issue of Ruto's running mate, Rigathi Gachagua. Yes, I want to say it's good our judiciary is working, but again, to some extent, you read mischief. Because I'll ask you, why is it, there's some cases all of a sudden, they're being expedited, like they're moving so fast. And the timing, question is the timing. You understand? Let's go behind Kidogo on the issue of Sonko. You remember, as soon as it was cleared by IEBC, the following day, his issue was cleared, was heard and settled. The issue of Rigathi Gachagua, it's been pending, and we know we have many corruption cases pending. But as soon as he tried to justify his funds the other day, his issue has been settled. He cannot explain where he got the money. So I want such to happen, and everyone to be convicted, and all those assets and monies to be recovered. But let it not be selective, or let it not be used to attain a certain agenda. You understand? Because we are all in Kenya and we know how corruption cases have been dragging. We have people who've been having these cases from even 2013 to now. But now there's some, it becomes, as much as you want us to say the judiciary is working, the way it moves, at some point, people read mischief even when you don't want them to do the same. You understand? So you look at what is the motive. What is so? You remember the other time we had an issue and told you there are some politicians whose cases have been suspended to give them ample time to campaign, and then they'll be resumed later. You understand? That's one thing. And then on the same issue, I want you to take this to the bank early. As soon as the first parliament is going to start their sessions, the first thing they'll be debating is to return the what do you call it? The car grant and stuff. These allowances that have been suspended today by SRC, and that's where you'll find all the politicians talking in one tone, whether they are from UDA, from Azimio, from where. The first motion will be, we need our car grants back, because those are some of the motivation that make people spend their money to go to parliament, because not about even the salary, it's the allowances. You remember the other time MCAs were given the car grant allowance. Why? Because there was an agenda. They were to pass BBI. But you see, how long has it lasted? Because BBI failed, now, boom, it's scrapped off. So trust me, in the coming parliament after 9th of August, people will be debating about the salaries and the allowances, how they should be returned. And now you wonder, are they working for us or for them? Take that to the bank.
Matasio, you want to take something else to the bank? You have a minute or 1 minute.
I will give you something very subject to the bank. First of all, if you cancel elections now, you go to the bank, Kenya will be better. But it's too late now. The only thing I want to say is please, Eli, it is very simple to tell a lie. If somebody tells you in 5 years we'll be having World Cup football in Kenya, you know it's not possible. You know it's not possible. We know it's not possible. Because even Ruto told us about, remember him lying, the stadium, blah, blah. He was mentioning 6 stadiums, halfway done that. So we know they lie. To be honest, any Kenyan voting for Raila, Martha Karua, Ruto, you are lost. Try, you know what? Try even me, vote me, to be honest. Try somebody new, because you are used to the same lies. We're used to the lies. Because when you are lied to, we believe in the lies. You actually believe that your child will go to school and will get a laptop. You believe that in your own head. And then your child is jobless after 20 years. Who do you blame? You believe that lie. Your child believed a lie for 25 years. So, Eli, let me say the truth. The only thing I can add is, please, Kenyan people, please, my fellow countrymen, please, Kenyan people, do you believe Ruto? Do you believe Raila? Do you believe Uhuru Kenyatta? Do you believe Sakaja? Please, just go sit down. Make your kachumbari, eat and ask, do I trust? Do I believe what this? Trust is something different. Do you believe what Ruto says? Do you believe what Raila says? Do you believe what Wajakoya says?
Okay, your 1 minute is mostly expired. We need to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Victor Ogola, for saying that I'll take this election to the bank and cash it on Raila and Martha's presidency to bring some sanity into Kenyan politics. It is possible. That is the final word from the audience there. And I know we've been having silent listeners both on live radio and of course on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. We continue this conversation next week, but for now I want to let you know that I continue with much more on the TBT event live on radio, that is blueradio.co.ke. Follow me there as we have a good time until midnight. For now, Godwin Thejero, thank you so much for coming on set tonight. I appreciate you. African Man aka Matasio Kagwa for making it all the way in the Holland. Najua umekuwa an international traveler and thespian. I appreciate your time, sir. Let's connect next week right here on Art in Heart. And for now, see you when you see me on Blue Radio. Good night and God bless you.